Upon contact with the defendant stated the motor vehicle belonged to him and his sister. The defendant advised he paid a guy $65 for the tag. Upon further inspecting the vehicle, the officers found the fictitious tag had the defendant's vehicle information on it, but the plate number came back to another motor vehicle. Inventory of the vehicle revealed another fictitious tag in the center console, and the defendant was also in possession of 2 fictitious documents affixed to the rear of the vehicle. The defendant made a comment that he knew one of the tags was fictitious.
Okay. Mr. Dominguez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to drive unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance. If I find that you do and you do not have a Texas driver license, you are not allowed to drive. You will be signing a promise with me today that you're not going to drive. Mr. Dominguez, if I find that you do, I'm going to revoke your bond. I'm going to put you in jail. If you're not in this country with permission and you go to jail and immigration finds you, they will put a detainer on you and you will be stuck like Chuck in there until this case is over with. And then they're going to ship you off to immigration. This is the only warning that you will get from us. So take it as you will. Do you understand? You need a lawyer to represent you in this case, and we're going to give you time to go find one. I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I will get you to Ramona, sign a reset. After that, we will get you time to go hire a lawyer, sir. Please. You are Eric Machado?
Perdón.
What is your last, el apellido?
David, Perdomo.
Perdomo.
Ramírez.
This is Perdomo Ramirez.
Yeah.
Mr. Perdomo Ramirez, you were charged with reckless driving. You are facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 21st, 2024, at approximately 5 p.m., the officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle after observing it travel over 90 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. The vehicle continuously cut across multiple lanes of traffic to maintain high speed and swerved in front of others, causing them to brake. The officer also observed the defendant's vehicle follow other vehicles too closely in an attempt to pass them. The officer followed behind for approximately 4 miles before initiating traffic stop. The defendant admitted to not having a license.
Mr. Perdomo Ramirez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. You do not have a Texas driver license. You are not allowed to drive. I'm making that a condition of your bond. If I find that you do, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail, and if you're unlucky enough, you're not in this country with permission, they will put an immigration detainer on you, and you will wait until this case is over with in jail, and then they're going to ship you off to immigration. Do you understand?
You're going too fast. I didn't understand.
You are not in this, if you are not in this country with permission, and you go to jail and immigration finds you, they will put an immigration detainer on you and you will sit in custody for about 3 to 4 months waiting for this case to be over with. And then you're going to wait another couple months for immigration to take you, where you will sit for another 6 to 9 months waiting for immigration to do whatever they're going to do to you. Do you understand? I want you to understand what would happen to you if you go to jail. I'm ordering and I'm placing conditions on your bond now. If you violate these conditions, I'm going to put you in jail. This is the only warning that you're going to get from me. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm warning you not to drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. If you do not have a Texas driver license and liability insurance, you may not drive.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You will be signing an affidavit. This is a promise to me you're going to make that you're not going to drive. I hope that you heed this warning and take it seriously. There will be no more. We'll have you sign this affidavit promising us you're not going to drive. I will get you to Ramona where we will have you sign a reset and we will get you out of here. When you come back, you need a lawyer to represent you, sir. We're going to give you time for you to do that. Please. You are Manuel Suarez. Mr. Suarez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. And ma'am, Ms. Silva, you're charged with prostitution. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. And we're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be willing to represent you, ma'am. Okay, let's start with Suarez.
Suarez. Yes, Judge. On December 20th, 2024, at approximately 4:38 a.m., the officer was dispatched to a stranded vehicle at the 11700 block of South Sam Houston Tollway. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant to be asleep behind the wheel of the car with gear shift in drive position and foot on the brake. There was an open container half filled with an alcoholic beverage, and the officer observed the defendant with glassy eyes and unsteady balance. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, 6 out of 6 on the HGN, 2 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 3 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. The DIC was read, and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.142 and 0.145.
Mr. Suarez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I would hope that you would recognize it's elementary that you're not supposed to have alcohol in the car while you're driving. It is a minimum of 5 days in jail to any sentence that you get when they allege that you have alcohol in the car. I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission and you go to jail, immigration will find you, they will put a detainer on you. Do you understand? I'm putting conditions on your bond. You violate these conditions, I will put you in jail so fast your head will be spinning 100 miles an hour. Do not consume alcohol, do not use illegal drugs, and do not drive. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you violate these conditions, I will put you in jail and I'm going to make your bond high. The reason you got out of jail quick because we gave you a PR bond. No more if you become a danger to my community. You understand? I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I'm going to get you to Ramona. We are going to give you a reset to give you time to hire a lawyer. After that, you will get with Francis for your bond conditions. Don't consume alcohol, and above all else, do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You will not get another. Are you signing on to Ms. Silva?
Yes, Mr. Welcome to you the signing.
Great, okay.
He's putting on his tie.
Sorry.
On his tie outside, Ralph Martinez.
Okay. You want me to wait?
No, just want to let you know you want.
Okay. We're about to do probable cause now, so you made it right in the nick of time. Okay, you ready?
Yes, Judge. On December 19th, 2024, the officer was working in an undercover capacity as part of proactive vice investigation at Chicas Locas. While inside the club, the officer engaged in a conversation with the defendant. The defendant then gave the officer table dances and agreed to engage in deviant sexual intercourse or oral sex in exchange for a fee of $500 with a condom.
Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I am ordering you not to engage in like-kind behavior, not to participate in this kind of environment. Do you understand? If I find that you do, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds, ma'am. All I'm asking you to do is don't work in these types of establishment and don't pick up a new case. You've got great lawyers. They will take care of you. You need to listen to them and they will tell you when you have to come back to court. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games and you've flown, then I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You understand, man? Okay. I'm going to have you just sign a reset with Ramona right now. After that, we'll have you take your seat in the jury box. So we'll get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. And after that, you'll be free to go. Hi, Ralph.
Judge, I can check.
All I did was just no engaging in like-kind behavior, and then that's it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, okay, guys, please. Are you here for you or for someone else? You here? This is for you. Okay. All right. Good morning, Mr. Baldwin. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 22nd, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle at approximately 2:11 a.m. after observing it drive northbound on a southbound only street at the 1000 block of Durham Drive. The officer observed the defendant to be the driver and sole occupant of the vehicle, and the defendant admitted to drinking and advised the officer he was coming from a few bars on Washington Avenue. The officer observed the defendant to have bloodshot eyes and an odor of an alcoholic beverage and was swaying while standing. Standard field sobriety tests were performed. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 4 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The DIC was read, but the defendant refused. Blood search warrant was signed and executed.
What was the stop for again?
Driving north on a southbound only road.
Got it. Okay. Mr. Baldwin, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. You will be randomly tested. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, I will issue a warrant for your arrest, put you in jail. Do you understand?
Sir.
Do you run his license?
Well, Your Honor.
All right. As long as you have liability insurance in your name, you may continue to drive as well. You need car insurance. If you don't, then you're not allowed to drive. Do you understand? Okay. Now you've got a great lawyer. He'll take care of you. You got to stay in contact with him. If Val tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Not hard. Don't drink. Don't use illegal drugs and stay in contact. We good? All right. Come on. Ramona, are you ready?
Yes, Judge.
You're yeah? Okay. Andrew Aravallo.
Yes.
Mr. Aravallo, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 20th, 2024, officers responded to a residence in regard to a shooting that just occurred. The officer stated over the radio that concerned citizens pointed out a motor vehicle involved in a possible shooting. The officer followed the motor vehicle and began calling out direction of the motor vehicle. A felony stop was conducted and the defendant, 17 years old, was in possession of a handgun with a sling.
Someone saw him get in the car and go?
It just pointed out the vehicle that was involved in a possible shooting and the officer was following that vehicle.
And
then
someone saw a shot from the car.
all it says is that a concerned citizen pointed out a vehicle that was involved in a possible shooting. Or
Let's do this. I'm going to appoint him a lawyer, and then I'm going to have the lawyer look in, and then we'll go
yes, Judge.
revisit here. Ramon, do you mind appointing Mr. Aravallo a lawyer, please? Good morning, Ms. Arrington. Ma'am, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. On December 21st, 2024, officers were dispatched to a tracked motor vehicle at a tow lot in Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the defendant, who stated her car was stolen that morning from her job, the prison in Huntsville, and that no way her car was repossessed because she paid her bills and that she was not exiting the motor vehicle and the complainant needed to open the gate so she could leave. The defendant stated she was not trespassing because her motor vehicle was in the tow lot, she did not care about going to jail, and she was not leaving. The defendant further stated to call the DA. The defendant refused to exit the motor vehicle and the lot. The officer made contact with the complainant, the owner of the lot, who stated he had been looking for the defendant to repossess her vehicle. The complainant stated he wanted the defendant out of the tow lot. The defendant took the GPS out of the vehicle and the vehicle was repossessed from Huntsville. The complainant further stated the defendant was past due on payments. The complainant stated he has proof of everything, including his possession request, and did not know how the defendant got into the tow lot as no one opened the gate for the defendant. The officer observed the defendant sitting in the repossessed vehicle, and the defendant stated she did not know how she got in, and the gate was observed to be locked. The defendant told another officer that Hispanic male allowed her into the lot, but the defendant could not confirm whether male was, and the complainant stated no Hispanic male opened the lot for the defendant. The officer asked the defendant multiple times to exit the motor vehicle and the lot, to which the defendant refused.
That's yes, sir. That's not true.
You have the right to remain silent.
Yes, sir.
Exercise that right. I've got a bunch of DAs here. Everything that you say, they're going to sit there, type it, and they're going to use it to prove guilt. You will get the opportunity to, fight the case.
Yes, sir.
Now's not the time.
Okay.
Bottom line is you need a lawyer to represent you in this case, right? Do you work?
I work as a correctional officer, sir. I actually help with INS cases and sending ICE
And
defendants out.
how much money do you make a month? How much money do you make a month?
Probably without taxes being taken up, probably like 4,000.
We're going to give you time to hire a lawyer. Okay. So what I'll have you do,
Actually, off work right now. I can't work because of this case.
what,
I
happened?
work for the state.
What does that mean?
That means that I can't go back to work. I'm not able to go back to work because of this case.
Did you get suspended?
Well, just depending on what happened today at court, you're not supposed to go to jail or do anything, being what type of job I have.
Did they tell you that not to come back?
Yes, I cannot come back until they figure out what's going on with my case.
Okay.
So this is how,
You want to apply for an appointed lawyer, man?
yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see if I have one. No. Okay. So, Ms. Arrington, I'll give you an application. I need to take a look at it. And then if you qualify, I'll appoint your lawyer today. Understand things don't just work overnight. It takes time to get evidence, takes time for stuff to come in. They have to contact the other people. So it may take some time. It's not just Rome wasn't built overnight, as the saying goes. So just be patient, and everything will work out. Okay. Of course. So I'll have you sign, I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. We'll give you an application. Take a seat in the juror box, fill it out, and I'll take it. Well, thank you, Ms. Arrington.
Your Honor, any bond conditions?
Oh, yeah, Ms. Arrington, I forgot. The only thing I'm going to ask you, don't go back to the law.
No, sir.
Okay. I mean, you go back, oh God, that's going to be a lot of bad blood, right? So, okay. Yeah. So just, that's it.
Yes, Judge.
She worked as a correctional officer. Normally I would put no weapons, but just to forego that for now, but yeah, it looks like she can't work as.
So Riddles on page 4 is our next one, Your Honor.
And no contact with the complaining witness as well. Are you Kayla Cerritos?
Yes.
Ms. Cerritos, you're charged with failure to stop and give information, which is leaving the scene of an accident without exchanging information. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and/or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On December 20th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a major accident at 6623 Gulf Freeway in Harris County, Texas. The officer learned there were two separate accidents, first at 9301 Gulf Freeway and second at 6623 Gulf Freeway. The complainant stated he was driving his motor vehicle, was stopped at a red light, and the defendant failed to control speed before rear-ending the complainant's motor vehicle. The complainant heard the defendant's tires screeching, and the defendant drove off at a high rate of speed. The complainant followed and chased the defendant's vehicle as the defendant entered and exited the freeway, attempting to get away. The complainant followed the defendant approximately 5 miles, and the defendant lost control and crashed into a home. The damage to the complainant's vehicle was $2,000.
What kind of day or night was this? Was middle of the night? Any kind of alcohol?
This was appears at midnight, and there's no allegations of alcohol.
It was
License, stop.
I apologize. It was at lunchtime, 12:29 p.m.
PM. Okay. Any a license?
License, Your Honor. It appears the Florida driver's license that's valid.
You have liability insurance in your name, car insurance.
I'm driving my mom's car.
I don't care if you were driving Santa's sleigh,
I don't.
then you're not allowed to drive. I'm making that a condition of your bond. Until you have liability insurance in your name, do not drive. Do you understand? I'm making it a condition of your bond. Until you show us that you have liability insurance, then I'll take this off. But until that point, don't drive. It is a condition of your bond. If you violate this condition, I may very well revoke your bond and put you in jail. No more PR bonds. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my city at all costs. Do you understand, Ms. Cerritos? The important thing about insurance, man, is that when you get into an accident, people will tend to come after you. We live in a very litigious society and everybody wants money. When you have car insurance, if you are involved in an accident, the insurance company will protect you and even have lawyers on their side to help you in the event someone tries to come after you. It's not expensive, but it's something that's required by law, and all we want you to do here is follow the law. It's really important. You know, you get into an accident where you create $50,000 worth of damage, someone's got to pay for it. It's got to come out of somewhere. You understand? That's why I'm asking you only to follow the law. Do not drive unless you have a valid driver's license and liability insurance in your name. I don't care what car you're driving. I don't care what it is, motorcycle, whatever it may be. Do you understand? All right. Tell me what you do for a living, man.
I'm a registered behavior technician. I work with children that have autism.
And what kind of income do you make a month?
I make $25 an hour, but I haven't been able to work due to the car not just being drivable. So I haven't worked this week, and I won't work for a couple weeks.
How are you supporting yourself, man?
I'm currently living with extended family. We just relocated from Florida.
Okay. Did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you mind giving an application, please? All right. I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive until you get approval and have liability insurance. I'll have you fill out the application for an appointed lawyer. I'll have you sign a receipt with Ramona, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box. All right. All right. Mr. Bisson?
Sir.
Mr. Bisson, you're charged of driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 21st, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle at approximately 1:24 a.m. after observing it travel 104 miles per hour and 96 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. The defendant was found in the driver's seat of the vehicle with one adult passenger. Upon contact with the defendant, the officer observed red, glossy eyes, slurred speech, and a strong odor of alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted to drinking. 10 field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, one leg stand 1 out of 4. Inventory of the vehicle revealed a bottle of cognac directly behind the front passenger seat on the floorboard, approximately 1/4 full. DICs were read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were .089 and .095.
DIC, priority WIs, and does he have a license?
There's no priority WIs, Your Honor, and license is eligible.
Mr. Bisong, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. Do you understand? You also are not allowed to drive unless you have liability insurance in your name. Do you understand? These are your bond conditions. As long as you can abide by these bond conditions, you and I will be fine. Otherwise, I'm going to end up putting you in jail. I'm not asking much. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I will have you go to Ramona, sign a reset. After that, you'll get Francis for your bond conditions, and then you're free to go. All right. Good morning, Mr. Charles. Sir, you were charged with evading arrest or detention. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 22nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to check by a unit regarding individuals fighting at a parking lot in Harris County, Texas. The officer in full uniform observed a large group of individuals circled around two individuals fighting in the lot. Officers dispersed the crowd and attempted to detain the defendant. The defendant looked at the officer and attempted to leave the scene because he did not want to speak with the officer. The officer informed the defendant he was not free to leave, and the defendant started to run away on foot from the officer while the officer told the defendant to stop running. The defendant ran approximately 2 blocks or 500 feet.
What was he doing wrong? Just standing?
He was engaged in a fight with someone else.
Was he the one that was actually fighting? Didn't seem like it. If he's just a spectator, he's doing nothing wrong.
The officer,
Unless you,
after he dispersed the crowd, he attempted to defame the defendant who was involved in the fight.
okay. Mr. Charles, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Just be careful, you know? Really. I'm not going to put any conditions on your bond. Just be careful. Don't pick up any new cases. That's all we're asking you to do. All right? We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you go to Ramona, sign a reset, and after that, you're out of here. You're on bond for a burglary of a motor vehicle, and now you've picked up a new case. Okay, stop.
Yes, sir.
You were on bond for a burglary of a motor vehicle, and now you've picked up an assault of a family member. You're now facing a year on that one as well. We're going to do probable cause on both of your cases. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
Yes, Judge. On the burglary, the officers were dispatched to a burglary call at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant told the officers that items were missing from his work truck, which was parked in front of his house. The complainant had cameras inside and around the truck, which captured the defendant's face. The officers received a tip from Grizzly identifying the defendant and were able to confirm the defendant's identity by viewing the captured surveillance.
Bless Gizzies. Hood news. You guys familiar with the hood news? Good stuff. So, say it again. What happened?
For the burglary?
No. The assault.
So on the assault case, the complainant and the defendant are in a dating relationship. And on December 20th, 2024, the officers were on patrol at Katy Freeway Service Road and observed the defendant and the complainant. The officer observed the defendant dragging the complainant by her hair towards the sidewalk. After the defendant saw the officer, he let go of the complainant and both began to walk towards the patrol vehicle. The officer detained the defendant and spoke with the complainant. The complainant stated she and the defendant were in an argument and the defendant was following her to get inside his car because she was walking in the road. The complainant did not have visible injuries, but stated she bit her lip and caused it to bleed. The complainant stated she did not feel pain from having her hair pulled. The complainant stated she felt 3 out of 10 pain.
Mr. Glover, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on your assault case. Tell me about the BMV, please.
On the BMV? So that was the one where they were dispatched to a residence in regard to a BMV call, and the complainant had cameras inside and around the truck, which captured the defendant's face, and he told the officers that items were missing from his work truck, which was parked in front of his house.
So they got him on camera with the home camera.
Yes, Judge.
Was he on bond for our burglary case and then picked up the new case? Do you guys?
Yes, Judge, it seems like.
Did we do conditions and everything?
So it looks like there were conditions on the 15th of December, and the new case was on the 20th of December.
So we had him, we put conditions on him.
Looks like there were conditions.
Looks like this. Judge, he may have been arraigned by the magistrates. I don't know if he ever came before.
Mr. Glover, let me make something extremely clear to you. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my city at all costs. I don't care who you are. what color you are. If you're a small farm animal, I'm going to protect my city at all costs. You endanger my city, I'm going to light you up so fast you're going to have teeth falling out. Do you understand? You are not to have contact with the complaining witness in this case at all whatsoever. And I'm now sending you for a drug test because I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, and you're to come right back. If you fail to go take the drug test, if you fail to come back, I will revoke both of your bonds and make them sky high. As it stands now, you were given 2 PR bonds in these cases. You pick up a third case. Holy moly. Do you catch my drift?
Yes, sir.
Francis, let's send him right now. You are to come right back. You are Gabriel Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On December 21st, 2024, at approximately 12:04 a.m., the officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle after observing it travel approximately 78 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. And after a check on his license plate revealed it to be expired as of June 2024. The officer also observed the vehicle insurance status to be unconfirmed. Upon making contact with the defendant, the officer observed bloodshot eyes, droopy eyelids, slurred speech, a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, and noticed the defendant to be swaying while standing. The defendant also made nonsensical statements and yelled at the officer during standard field sobriety tests. The vehicle smelled strongly of marijuana, and there were burnt marijuana blunts in the vehicle's driver door pocket. The defendant admitted to drinking, and standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 7 out of 8, one leg stand 2 out of 4. The GIC was read but refused. A search warrant for blood was signed and executed.
Okay. Any prior DWIs?
No, Your Honor.
License?
Eligible.
Mr. Johnson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, I will put you in jail. No more PR bonds.
Yes, sir.
If you do not have liability insurance in your name, you are also not allowed to drive, and I'm making that a condition of your bond. Do you understand?
Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to have you come up to Ramona. We're going to have you sign a reset. Ramona, it looks like he has a lawyer. I guess you want to wait a little bit to see if someone comes. So what we'll do is I'll have you meet with Francis for your bond conditions. We'll have you take a seat while we wait for your lawyer to get here.
Thank you.
Please. You are Eric Machado. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 21st, 2024, the officer responded to a major crash at Interstate Highway 45 in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed 3 wrecked vehicles, including the defendant's vehicle. The officer discovered the defendant's vehicle was driving at a high rate of speed and struck the rear of another vehicle, which was pushed across another lane and subsequently struck another vehicle. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver, and the officer observed staggering, the defendant trying to sit on the ground due to poor balance, a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, and bloodshot glossy eyes. The wheel witness, the passenger of the defendant's vehicle, observed the defendant drink 3 40-ounce Smirnoffs and stated the defendant insisted that he drive as the big brother. The wheel witness stated the defendant did not stop at a red light at an intersection, hitting another vehicle. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 5 out of 8, one leg stand 2 out of 4. The defendant read the DIC and consented to breath. Those results of the breath test were 0.058 and 0.054. A DRE and blood sample were requested, to which the defendant consented. The DRE determined the defendant showed signs of being the influence of a narcotic, analgesic, and dissociative anesthetic.
Mr. Machado, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Have you prior to the DWI's license?
No DWIs, Your Honor, and eligible license.
So Machado, I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have insurance with your name on it. Do you understand? If you're caught driving a vehicle and you don't have insurance on it, I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, likewise, into jail you will go. No more PR bonds. If you don't have anyone to pony up $5,000 to $10,000 to get you out of custody, you'll be sitting in there until this case is over with. Do you understand?
Sir.
How old are you, sir? What do you do for a living? Sorry?
Paint helpers.
Okay. What kind of money you make?
18 an hour.
Okay. And who do you live with? All right. We're going to give you time to hire a lawyer because you need a lawyer to represent you. Don't wait. There's a lot of timing requirements with the DWI, so don't sit and wait a month, 2 months because you're only hurting yourself. You understand? All right. I'm going to get you to Ramona's. We're going to have you sign a reset. Then you'll get with Francis for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go. Don't pick up a new case and don't use. All right. Good morning, Mr. Is it Poston or
Poston.
Poston? Mr. Poston, you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a family disturbance. The reportee stated the officers that the defendant had engaged in a physical altercation with multiple complainants. The second complainant told the officers that her and the defendant, her stepfather, got into a physical fight and that the defendant pushed her, but did not cause her to fall to the ground or did not cause any pain. The officer then contacted the first complainant, the stepmother of the second complainant, who stated to officers that after the fight, she walked outside the residence to get in her car when the defendant pulled out a pocket knife and stabbed 2 tires on her vehicle, causing at least $200 in damage.
Mr. Poston, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have contact with the complaining witness in this case and not to make possession of weapons. Do you understand? If you violate these conditions, I will put you in jail and you will not get any more PR marks. We are going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to first have you go to Ramona, sign a reset. After that, we'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. And after that, you'll be free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer. You, Luis Angel Racinos.
Yes,
Mr. Racinos, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 20th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to Fondren Road to meet the firefighter call. Upon arrival, the officer was advised by a Houston Fire Department medic that the defendant, who was the driver and sole occupant of the vehicle, was asleep behind the wheel of the vehicle while the vehicle was on and in drive and in the middle of the intersection. Upon contact with the defendant, the officer observed slurred speech, a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, and swayed balance. The defendant denied drinking. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6. Walk and turn 7 out of 8, 1 leg stand 3 out of 4. The DIC was read, but the defendant refused. Blood search warrant was signed and executed. During the reading of the DIC, the defendant wet his pants for a second time.
Mr. Racinos, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. You're going to be randomly tested. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, you will go to jail.
Eligible license and no priors.
Got it. If you don't have liability insurance in your name, you're not allowed to drive any vehicle. Do you understand? And that is also a condition of your bond. We're going to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. After that, you'll get with Francis for your bond conditions, and then you'll be free to go. Don't pick up any new cases. Do you understand? Okay. Is it Saquital? Saquital?
Yes, Sakitan.
Saquital?
Sakitan.
Say it again.
Sakitan.
Okay, Mr. Saquital, you are charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. All right.
On December 21st, 2024, officers were dispatched to a firefighter call for a person down at approximately 1:24 a.m. Houston firefighter advised the officer that he observed the defendant to be asleep behind the wheel of his vehicle, despite attempts to wake the defendant with their horn. When the officer arrived on scene, he observed the defendant inside his vehicle while the vehicle was on and in park at the 4300 block of Bylock Road, and the defendant admitted to drinking about 8 drinks and stated he had just left the sports bar. The officer observed the defendant to have glassy eyes, poor balance, and an odor of an alcoholic beverage. Standard filter brighter tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 4 out of 8, one leg stand 2 out of 4. While inventory of the vehicle, the officer located one open 12-ounce Coors Light can in the center cup holder, which was 1/4 full and cold.
Drinking while driving?
Yes, Judge. And the defendant, and the DIC was red, and the defendant consented to breath. The results were .087 and .08.
Mr. Secretary, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive, whatever, for any reason. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive, and I don't care what is going on in your life. If I find that you drive, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. I don't care what your reason is. There's no justification you can give for getting in a car and driving. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
This is a court order. This is an affidavit and promise you're making to me now that you're not going to drive. Heed this warning. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, likewise, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer, so I'll have you swear to this. We'll get you to Ramona with your reset, and then Francis for your bond conditions. Good morning, Mr. Rada.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, you're charged with terroristic threat. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Please.
On May 14, 2024, the officer responded to a resident in Harris County, Texas, in reference to a terroristic threat. The officer made contact with the complainant, who stated the defendant, the wife's uncle, threatened to return to the residence with a shotgun to shoot him, and that he would shove the complainant's pistol up the complainant's ass, and that he would return with a cartel so they could take care of it. The complainant stated he believed the threats to be imminent and he feared for his life.
How did you get appointed so early?
He made a request for appointing counsel when he was in jail in Montgomery County.
Okay, so he was,
And y'all appointed me, and then he got transferred here and
got it.
received his bond conditions and general order bond last week.
All right, Mr. Rod, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm putting 2 conditions on your bond now: not to be in possession of weapons and not to have contact with the complaining witness in this case.
Yes, sir.
How long did you spend in jail, sir?
I was there the 14th all the way up to the time they transferred me here, and I believe I was released on the 20th.
How pleasant was your stay in custody?
It was not pleasant at all, Your Honor.
Then all I'm asking you to do are 2 things, and as long as you can do that, you and I will be best friends. Otherwise, it's not going to go well. I don't want to have to put you in, so just, that's all,
I
okay?
understand, Your Honor.
Got a great lawyer, Carl. He'll take care of you. Just make sure you stay in contact with him and all will go well.
Yes, sir.
If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, you're off the radar, I will issue a warrant for your arrest, okay? Just stay in contact, follow the conditions, and that's it,
Yes, sir.
okay? All right. Are you Taisha Willis?
Yes.
Ms. Willis, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. The officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in regard to an assault. The complainant, the defendant's daughter, told the officers that her and the defendant got into an argument, and the defendant struck the complainant in the face with her hand, causing pain. The complainant and the defendant then began fighting. Multiple witnesses told the officers that the defendant was the aggressor and hit the complainant first.
Ms. Willis, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. What's the relation?
It's the defendant's daughter, Your Honor.
Do we know whether the daughter wants to have contact?
Your Honor, we have not had a chance to reach out to the complainant yet.
I don't know if she wants to have contact with you, so until I do, I'm barring you from having contact. You understand? There is a protective order that has been entered in this case. I would get to know it, because if you violate the protective order, the state can file additional charges of violation of protective order against you, and it's one of the worst cases you can pick up in misdemeanor court.
Can I question something? You said that it was a residence, that we were at a residence.
Let's not talk about the case now. Now's not the time. I've got DAs here. Anything you say, they're going to use it against you, even if you
It was
think
at Walmart, not a residence.
doesn't matter. Just don't. So, what do you do for a living, man?
Drive school buses part-time.
Okay. What kind of income do you have?
Part-time, it's like probably less than 18 a month.
Okay. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
No,
You want to apply for an appointed lawyer?
it'd be fine.
Okay. I have one on file. So for now, ma'am, I'm gonna have you go to Ramona, sign a reset. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box. I'm gonna have you sign bond conditions. You're not to have contact with her and no weapons. And then I'll try to find you a lawyer, okay?
Okay.
Thanks. And the young,
Yes, sir.
Miss Young, you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On December 21st, 2024, the officers were dispatched to a disturbance call at 11:03 p.m. in regard to an intoxicated female who had become violent. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the complainant, a supervisor for Acadian Ambulance, who stated that he observed the defendant throw a rock into the windshield of a Chevy pickup and then run off. The complainant advised that the defendant used to work for Acadian Ambulance and was no longer with the company. The complainant estimated the damages to be in the amount of $500. The officer observed the Chevy pickup truck with a broken windshield.
Got it. All right, Ms. Young, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You will be randomly tested. If I find that you're using alcohol, I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand? I'm also ordering you not to have contact with the complaining witness in this case, not to be in possession of any weapons as well. So Francis, this one, I need you, since we're monitoring her for alcohol and drugs, please. Okay. What do you do for a living, man?
I did work in Acadian.
You're working now?
At an interview yesterday, they said I would be hired on. I guess it depends on also the background check.
My question is do you have income coming in?
I will be. Hopefully.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. If you have any issues, just come back and tell us. For now, we'll give you time. So I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. You'll get with Francis for your bond conditions. And then after that, you'll be free to go. Don't use alcohol. Don't pick up a new case because otherwise I'm going to end up putting you in. Do you understand? Okay, man, please.
I have a fugitive matter that I want to have a conversation with.
And look who just popped in.
Oh, I've got Amy here too.
I don't know if they want to.
Yeah.
Hi, Judge.
Hey, Day, how are you, man?
All right, how are you?
Doing great.
If you don't turn on the camera, it doesn't count, Day.
I'm not in a suit.
It's okay.
Who are we talking about?
Mr. Pitkins. So I wanted to, what's the best term? Feel out the court's perceptions about the possibility of setting a bond without expressly revoking my waiver at this time. So the court's opinion on a bond. And I'll do Day's job and set out the negatives. He has a prior fugitive case, which it was the same case from Oklahoma. But on my client's behalf, he did make a bond here, go to Oklahoma, and has continued to go to court. However, he missed court, I think, last month or this month. And so a new warrant issued. In this county, he started probation in November and was released from custody then. And then coincidentally ran into law enforcement on Christmas Day and then arrested him on the out-of-state warrant.
Day?
I mean, he's got it in one, Judge. He was already granted a bond, and Your Honor, you famously say in court, if you give them once, they'll never get another one again.
Sorry, man.
No, I understand. I just on my client's request.
If I do it, then I become an enabler.
Yes, Joe.
You know, it's gonna.
I understand the court's position.
How much time does he have under his belt?
In what matter?
As far as the,
Well, it's only 2 days, Judge. He was arrested on Christmas.
Yeah.
wow, on Christmas.
Yeah. And when Day says arrested, he was arrested, but there was no new case. He happened to have a conversation with law enforcement and was placed in cuffs. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, then.
Well, we'll maintain our waiver, Judge.
Okay. Thanks. Mr. Jefferson, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 22nd, 2024, at approximately 3:30 a.m., the officers were dispatched to the 800 block on Louisiana Street in regard to a motor vehicle parked on the Metro light rail tracks. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle on the tracks with the defendant asleep behind the wheel of the vehicle.
On the tracks?
Yes, Judge. The vehicle was turned on and in the park position. Upon contact with the defendant, the officer observed slurred speech, glossy eyes, and an odor of an alcoholic beverage. Standard field sobriety tests were administered, 0 out of 4 on the one-leg stand, 0 out of 8 on the walk and turn. The defendant did not finish the test, and HGN was 6 out of 6. The DIC was read, and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.091 and 0.09.
He's on bond for an aggravated robbery.
Yes, Judge, that is correct. Out of the 174th.
All right, can you tell me if he has any prior DWIs, please? And
no prior
he has a license?
And his license is eligible.
Mr. Jefferson, I'm now placing a restriction on you. I'm giving you a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I'm going to put an ankle monitor on you so I know where you are at all times. You're on bond for a very serious case. Now you picked up a new case. It's very possible they revoke your bond on the felony case. Do you understand? I don't want you out in the middle of the night. If I find that you violate these conditions, I'm going to put you in custody. I'm going to protect my county at all cost. Do you understand? If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, your bond will be revoked. You will go into custody. And I'm telling you now, if I find that you're a public danger, I'm going to make it sky high. You missed court yesterday. So I don't want you to say anything. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. The only thing I'm telling you now is I will give you a pass because you missed yesterday. If you ever miss court again, this is not going to happen. Do you understand? I'm going to reinstate the bond now. Francis, do you need the cause number for this case?
I have it.
You have it? Okay. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. And he now has a GPS monitor with a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. You must charge this ankle monitor on a daily basis for at least an hour. If the battery goes dead, so does the bond. Do you understand? You can waive all the fees as well. All right, I'd like him to get it today as well. Francis, please. All right, Mr. Jefferson, what we're gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you go to Ramona, sign a reset, and then you're gonna get with Francis for your bond conditions. You're already in enough hot water as it is. All you're doing is you're adding fuel to the fire, man. Really, don't say anything. I'm just telling you how to behave in this life. There's certain ways to act, certain ways not to. Do you understand? Come on. Runcie.
Hey, Judge, how are you?
Alex, did you have luck?
Oh, yes,
On this
Judge.
case?
The complainant told me that there's been no further incidents or contact since the original incident.
We'll go ahead and do it, and I'll waive the signature so he doesn't have to come back.
Got the memo, Judge.
Yeah, you look good.
Thanks. Also have Gabriel Johnson. I heard you already did.
Yes.
bond conditions.
Just normal standard stuff.
So I
So
got a reset from Ramona already. Is he free to go?
take him, of course.
Okay. Is his future appearance waived or do you require?
Yes.
Okay.
No. We waive it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Judge.
of
Appreciate
course.
it. All right. Y'all have a good day.
Counsel, of course.
This is on the same case.
Yes, sir.
You need the cause number again?
Do you need to do anything different?
So my office has asked me if you would go ahead and revoke his bond. So that would activate the bench warrant.
Sure. Okay. Well, no. The bench warrant is active. I signed it. We've issued the
So-
bench warrant, so it's already active.
So Your Honor, I'm
The-
sorry, Your Honor, but what they're telling me is that the immigration won't act on the bench warrant until he's in warrant status.
Okay, I mean, if you want me to do it, sure, I'll do it for you. Yeah,
Sure,
of
Honor.
course. I don't think that revoking the bond activates the bench warrant because I've already signed an order.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Right? So, but the problem is it's a federal agency versus a state agency. Does
Yes, Your
do
Honor.
feds comply? Right.
Yes, Your Honor,
So,
unfortunately.
I'll do it for you.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. Unfortunately, I used to practice immigration, do the same thing myself. It was
what's your cause number again?
253
Okay.
7312.
On Gomez Velasquez, right?
Leonardo Gomez Velasquez, Your Honor.
The bond is set at 100 now. Do you want to give me an amount that you want?
I guess you double it, right? Or is that?
100?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
So revoke it, we'll set it at $200. And then that's it.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Take care, and then, you know, if you want, like I said, if you want to come back next week, we'll see if he's here or not. We can tell you.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, who do we have here?
This is Christopher Gomez on page 9, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, Mr. Gomez.
Good morning, Judge.
All right. So with us, you were on bond for a felony less than a gram case from October. In December, you pick up a weed case, and now you've picked up another weed case. You are now charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 20th, 2024, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle, a silver BMW, bearing the wrong license plate. The officer conducted a search and learned the license plate was registered to a Hyundai four-door with the expired registration of December 2022. The traffic stop was conducted, and the officer observed the driver throw a brown object out of the driver's side window and land on the road. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver, and sole occupant, and observed a strong odor of marijuana and a green leafy substance residue on the front of the defendant's shirt, known to be marijuana based on training and experience. The defendant stated he removed plates from his mother's motor vehicle due to not properly registering his motor vehicle. The officer walked back to where the defendant threw the brown bag and located a large cigar containing marijuana. The weight of the marijuana was 2.5 grams.
I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case, Mr. Gomez. My question to you, what condition did we place on you before? We put a no driving affidavit on your prior case. I'm now revoking the bond on that case, and I'm going to raise it up. I'm now finding this bond wholly insufficient, as well as you refuse to comply with bond conditions set with this court, and I'm finding that by clear and convincing evidence. As a result, I'm finding this bond wholly insufficient as well. We are now taking you into custody because of a felony warrant, but I'm now revoking the bond on your first case as well. Goes with you. You'll order him not to have contact with her, though.
I think that's the reason why I wanted her to talk to you last time, because she's asking that she have contact with
So
him.
it looks like a MOAB was amended, the no contact order was taken off when it was amended. On the 4th, which is, I'm assuming maybe when.
The last court setting, yes,
Yeah.
Judge. She came, she wanted it removed, she wanted the case dropped. She didn't want any restrictions.
I don't see that I only see no contact with a protected individual. What I see as of 11/20/24.
That right?
No contact is crossed out, yes.
Yeah, it's crossed out and then initial, okay, that's it.
I do, I see it, okay. I see it. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I'm gonna oppose, I mean, she's bailing him out, but we're still gonna oppose.
She texted
taking
me
off
at
no
6 in the
contact.
morning today, Judge, asking to get this case dismissed again. She's constantly calling me every week. She does not want this
That's
She can
restriction.
just dismiss the case because she wants to.
We could at least respect her wishes and not have this no contact order. I could call her right now and she could state that she doesn't want it. All it takes is a phone call.
At the end of the day, Judge, the charge is for the state to dismiss. So we obviously take complainant's wishes into account, but that's not determinative of whether the state chooses to dismiss or not, as defense knows.
Correct. But she's stating what her wishes are
Regardless.
regarding the conditions.
I guess I'll leave it as is, but please make your client aware that no threatening, no harassing, no weapons, all that still applies with it though.
Yes, Judge. And again, I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything, Judge,
Look,
but
I'm never going to begrudge you for representing your client to the best of your ability. It's great, and I certainly appreciate it.
thank you, Judge.
And you got to do what you got to do. Just be careful what you wish for, because if he gets out the immigration and they see the facts of this case and they deny him any kind of relief over there, you've just tacked on 3 to 4 months.
We've discussed that. Yes, Judge.
Oh.
We've discussed that. He
So
wants to
just,
get out soon
as it
possible.
says, be careful what you wish for.
Got it. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it. Sure.
Judge, your approach on the other issues?
Judge, I was asked to approach on Mr. Perucho?
Yeah, that wasn't.
What page did you say?
29. Same custody.
The only case, the attorney filed a motion to withdraw. I'm not sure if he signed it or not, but
I will. Well,
he has a new case that's on 1-2. And he's been appointed to both cases.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I think he might be a Spanish speaking word.
No.
See if I can take.
Okay. Anna, what you got?
I have a question on Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hunter, you got him drug testing Monday and Thursday.
How'd it go?
So yesterday, if you'll remember, he had some childcare issues and wasn't sure he'd be able to go test at pretrial.
No, he said, right. He said he was going to go out, do it.
So he was gonna go out and do the test at the private lab and come here today. Well, yesterday he was able to get to pretrial services.
No, but he was supposed to go to a lab and have the results.
Well, right, but he was able to go to pretrial yesterday instead of going to the private lab and.
Oh, he did go to pretrial.
Yes, so he went to pretrial yesterday.
Okay.
They did not test him. I spoke with pretrial services and I'm not sure why they didn't test him, but he did show up and her notes confirm that he did show up. This morning he went to pretrial and they didn't test him and sent him over here. So he.
What is going on? Why are they not testing him? There's an order in there.
On your judge, it showed that
What?
we're not able to drug test clients without the proper paperwork stating that he has a UA.
But he had the order was in for the UA.
I don't
And he
understand
just
what's
went-
going on. So,
There wasn't no court entry inputted saying that he can go and get drug tested yesterday or today.
But on Monday, we.
it's every Monday and Thursday. Okay, can you send them now? And then can you put in the notes every test Mondays and Thursdays, please? Let's send them now. Sure. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Can I get Susan?
It's still Monday, Thursday.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Ramona, I gotta go take my daughter to the doctor, so.
Oh, wait, Judge, we had one fugitive case left.
Okay, tell me what's going on.
It's Ricardo's. This one's gonna be, hopefully, I'll try to make it fast.
I believe it's regarding Mr. Caceres.
Caceres. So this one's on Monday, it's off docket. Can I give you a case number, Judge?
Yeah.
254-2349. So he's wanted out of Connecticut for a sexual assault, and the demanding jurisdiction got notification today about the waiver. So a little bit, very short background. is we typically send a teletype pickup request 3 times, and on the 3rd time, our sheriff's office calls to make sure, you know, whether they got it or not. Obviously, circumstances change on how they do it depending on the, you know, what it is. But today was the 3rd day that they followed up to check in because nobody responded, and apparently it never got across to the detective's desk who manages the fugitives. So without getting into, I mean, I can if you want to, but without getting into the background of it, is that they said pulling all the strings they can is the soonest they can pick him up is January 3rd. This is after me giving the riot act and saying that you would not extend it to the 7th, is that they said January 3rd in the morning, just absolute soonest from the notice of today, which I think is pretty impressive, that they're able to pick him up. Some facts regarding
What was the day set for pickup?
Next Monday. So this is following Monday. That's why they do the notification a little bit before. So obviously the Friday before the pickup, they're like, hey, we haven't heard back from you. Or our sheriff's office, you know, says that, hey, we haven't heard back from you. And once they got hold of somebody on the phone, the detective that actually handles it, because apparently it has to go through 2 people, an inspector, and then somebody else gets to the detective's desk. It's the person who actually handles it, got the notification today from when we called. And that's why then he immediately called Amy and then I called him. And so, so 1 week from the notice is the absolute, like, this is with every string that they can pull. But for the offense itself, Judge, it's a sexual assault. And I wanted to get a bit more because I know you'd want to know, is that the sexual assault sounded more, yes. Sexual assault sounded more closer to a Berghab, a 1st degree, is that he had an acquaintance that he pushed through in the door to get in with force, and then he raped her and then left. And so they've been investigating this since 2021. The warrant's been live since 2022. And like I said, they really, really want this guy, which is why they've moved things around just so they can come on the 3rd just to get him. They've been pursuing this case, and it's the actual detective from the case that's also handling the fugitive case. So, yeah.
If I may, Judge, they really, really want this guy, but notice never got across to the detective's desk. It's costing my client 4 extra days because notice didn't get to this detective's desk in time. That's not on my client, Judge. You know, when he goes in and he waves, he's waving, expecting 14 days to be able to, something happen on the 14th day. That's Monday. Just because they didn't get notice across somebody's desk, that doesn't fall on my client. There's a practice in place for this. 14 days means 14 days. This is not an adequate excuse, Judge. It's the 30th. His family expects him to either be on his way on the 30th or be getting out on the 30th. He expects it. He signed the waiver expecting the 14 days.
If I may, Judge?
Sure.
Obviously, as you stated before, Your Honor, the statutory required days is 30 as a courtesy. The court gives 14 days.
Courtesy,
This isn't a theft. This isn't a harassment. This is a sexual assault, which is closer to a burglary habitation sexual assault, 1st degree equivalent in Texas. This is obviously a serious offense in which that's why I'm making the argument I am now. For a lesser offense, for a non-violent offense, I wouldn't be arguing as strenuously as I am now, but especially for an investigation that spanned several years and then pursuing this defendant across Texas and Louisiana, is that that's why I'm pushing for, and it's not even the full 30 days, obviously. And if it was,
I get it, Dave, but I want you to make it abundantly clear to them that if they're not here by that time, then that's it.
The 3rd, Judge?
Give them a PR bond on that day.
So, Judge, this is one of those. So, yes, thank you. But for the date, then, because they're picking up on the 3rd, it's the holdover issue. And so I'll be putting on the 6th, but on the 3rd, we can check if they don't pick them up. Then obviously at that date, if that's okay with the court.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll relay that right now because their docket in Connecticut is closing soon. Oh, sorry, Ricardo, looked like you want to say something.
Yeah, Judge, this is all happening without my client knowing what's going on. His family has been in contact with me. They want an update on what's going on. I told them they're not getting an update until Monday. This is all changing expectations both for my client, his family. Can we keep this on the docket?
Put them on Monday?
Yes.
Sure.
So you can hear what's going on.
Yeah, can you put them on for Monday, Dave?
Okay, and hopefully Amy can hear, but I'll notate to the court just so they're not confused about, so that they don't cancel their trip, is that they're still expected to travel. Yes. They have to put that travel request today. So
got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I will call them right now.
All right, thanks, bud.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, hold on. Perechu, come up. Mr. Perechu, you were charged with driving while intoxicated back in 2022. You took off. We issued a warrant for your arrest. The only reason that we have you back now is because you picked up another DWI. So you have 2 open DWIs. Your bond on the first one is set at $5,000. We're going to do probable cause on your second case. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir.
On December 25th, 2024, the officer on view to DWI investigation at 7600 Harwin in Harris County, Texas. The officer heard a loud bang and observed the defendant's motor vehicle driving on the median heading eastbound. A traffic stop was initiated. The officer observed the defendant immediately opened the door and stepped out of the driver's side. The officer observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, glossy red eyes, slurred speech, and standard field sobriety. HGN were 6 out of 6 clues, and the defendant stated he no longer wanted to continue standard field sobriety test and to just do breathalyzer in jail. The defendant read the DIC and consented to breath. The defendant later said that he was on his way home from his friends and was turning left on Harwin and got on top of the median due to being drunk. The defendant stated he consumed 4 Heineken 16-ounce beers, and the results of the breath test were 0.205 and 0.212.
Oof. Mr. Perechu, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case.
Judge, if I can argue against that real fast.
Sure.
My understanding is that the reason for the stop was a loud bang, that it didn't be articulated into any kind of reason for a traffic stop.
Well,
He's driving on the median.
Ricardo, the officer further
Bang is
observed
what
him
drew his
driving.
attention, and then he's driving on him.
Yes, Ricardo.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty different.
I find that you're a complete and utter flight risk by clear and convincing evidence. I find that you are a danger to my community. You were given a PR bond on this case, and I am now going to revoke that PR bond, and I'm going to set your bond at $10,000 and 2 on the new case. And I'm also going to mirror that on the first case. You now have an immigration detainer and are I guess he's stuck like Chuck now. You got the immigration detainer, you know? If for some reason you do get out, I am barring you from driving at all, and I'm giving you home confinement with a GPS monitor on one ankle and a scram ankle monitor on your other. Do you understand, Mr. Perechu? When you come to court, good things happen. And when you take off like this, nothing good happens. And now you will see this. All right. So I guess we'll just do whatever you want as far as a reset with Mr. Perechu.
His other cases on the second,
He revoked the bond.
oh, just did it on. Okay.
If you want to leave it on there, if you want to do different dates, whatever you want, I'm happy to do it.
Just let me know in the future.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
Judge, Mr. Franklin is here. We're still waiting on Ms. White.
You were LaDon Franklin. Mr. Franklin, you're charged with terroristic threat. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Mr. Judge. On December 17th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a Holiday Inn Express in Harris County, Texas, in response to a suspicious person call. The officer made contact with the complainant, who stated he was sitting outside near the front door, speaking with his sister on the phone, when he was approached by the defendant, who asked for a cigarette. The complainant told the defendant he did not have any. The defendant became upset, and the defendant told the complainant he was going to kill him, causing the complainant to fear for his life and to not feel safe going outside. The complainant provided a picture of the defendant walking southbound, and the officer located the defendant sitting outside a Hampton Inn, and the defendant stated nothing happened as he was walking on the sidewalk.
All right. And there's probable cause to go forward with the case. What are you doing with yourself these days?
Get my home back.
You have a place to stay?
I lost my home.
Okay. And then we can try to find services for you if you'd like. All you got to do is stay in contact with the lawyer. We have social services that can help you out with whatever you need. All we need you to do is come back, okay? When you come back to court, good things happen. All I want you to do, just don't go back to the location. Don't have any weapons, okay? Good things will happen, really. We just need you to stay in contact with us and just be patient, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to get stuff. And for us to get you services to help you out, it also takes time, Mr. Franklin, all right? So be patient with us. We'll help you out as much as I can. If you want a job, we can try to find you a job. You want a place to stay, we can try to find you a place to stay. I'll help you with all that, okay? Just have patience with me, all right? It's kind of late.
Just have him have a seat, Judge. I'll have to reach out to somebody and they'll.
I know it's so late.
Yeah.
You want to try another day on this? Okay, all right. Look, hey, we're happy that you're here. Come back. Good things will happen for you, for real, all right? And we're going to find you someone today. I know it's late. A lot of lawyers are gone now, but we're going to try to find you someone, okay? So just hang tight with me, and then I'm going to point you someone, okay?
Mr. Glover.
Thanks, Mr. Franklin.
Mr. Glover's back from his drug
Okay.
test.
Can you come up, Mr. Glover?
Keep tested off of the THC, Judge.
Anything else?
Just teach.
You know what the expectation in this court is. I have no problems putting in people in jail when they're a danger to my public, and I'm going to do it in a heartbeat. You are not to use alcohol. You are not to smoke weed. And I'm telling you now that I'm going to test you again in 45 days. If you continue to use after today, including today, it's going to show up and I'm going to put you in jail. Don't use, don't have contact with the complaining witness in this case, and don't pick up a third case. Do you understand? We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. Take a seat for me, and then we'll also get you your child services. I'm not going to take your word for these things. All I care is about safety in my public. You've got an open ag, Rob. Now you picked up a new case. I want you to live under these curfews. That's it. So when you get a lawyer, I'm not going to talk to you about this now. You need a lawyer to represent you. When you do that, get the lawyer and then we can talk. But I don't want you to say anything now that's going to hurt your case even more. The only thing my concern is public safety. Do you understand? That's all I care about at this point. I'm not going to talk to you about this now. You need a lawyer, and then when you have one, then we can talk about it. You understand? Okay. Nathan, Mr. Franklin may need some services as far as like housing and stuff like that. So I'd like to put you guys together to see what we can do to help him out, huh?
That's fine by me, Judge. I'll give my office number. If he calls, I'll talk to him.
Okay, I'm going to give you the lawyer's phone number. Do you have a cell phone number? Okay, hold on. I don't want you to say it out loud. Let me, if you don't mind, giving me the phone number here. I'm going to give it to them. This was just a scoop for part of his case when he pled. Yeah, it's just because I wanted to see whether we were going to do the roll his court costs or not. Hey, can I give you, friends, can I give you a cause number? Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
254-1195. He is traveling from 12:30 to 1/6. So, so from December 30th to 1/6, so make sure that he doesn't get a call in, please. Please, and you can waive the signature. It's the 9 is the first number, right, Mr. Franklin? 9? 9 is the first number? So I'm gonna have you get in contact with him. He's gonna call you here within the next 15 minutes. You guys get on the same page about everything. Whatever you need, talk to him and we can try to help you out. Show up, good things will happen, I promise, okay? Really. We wanna help you out as much as possible, but if you take off, we can't help, okay? That's it. You have any questions? So this is Nathan, this is Mr. Franklin.
Hello, Mr. Franklin.
This is Nathan. I'll have him reach out to you here momentarily, okay?
I can turn on my
All right, man. So just be safe and have a great new year, okay?